I'm chairing the meeting, Councillor Paul Arnott, and welcome to anyone watching the meeting via live streaming in your thousands. Any members of the public who would like to view the agenda for tonight, please go to our website, eastdevon.gov.uk. So as ever, we will start this evening's meeting by doing a roll call of Cabinet Committee members here present with Amanda Coombs, please.
Thank you, Chair. Starting with yourself, Councillor Arnott.
Present.
Councillor Hayward.
Present, thank you.
Councillor Davey.
Present, thank you.
Councillor Hall.
Present.
Councillor Hookway.
Present.
Councillor Jackson.
Present.
Councillor Loudon.
Present, Amanda.
And Councillor Rixon.
Present.
I think that was present, wasn't it? It was quite quiet.
She was taking the mickey.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yes, so you are.
Thank you, Amanda. It's very reassuring. We'll now go to the main part of the agenda. Agenda item 1 is always public speaking, and our special speaker tonight is Councillor Steve Gazzard. Over to you, please, Steve.
Thank you, Chair and Cabinet, and good evening to you all. And what a lovely evening it is. Thank you for allowing me to speak to Cabinet this evening. Before I ask my questions, I would just like to give you a little background to why I am here. Exmouth Town Council has declared an expression of interest in taking on the toilet block by the Imperial Recreation Ground Exmouth. We already work in partnership with Transition Exmouth. Due to the location of these toilets, it became clear that the building could become more than just a toilet block, and then the vision of an eco-hub was launched. Both parties have undertaken a huge amount of work for this project, which is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But we now need the help to move the vision forward. We are all aware and acknowledge climate change, and this vision would be a massive step forward. Last night, an extraordinary meeting of Exmouth Town Council's Climate and Ecological Emergency Working Party was convened, and the plan was discussed and supported. It was acknowledged that the Town Council do not have the capacity, knowledge and resources to pursue this amazing vision any further without the help and input of EDDC and DDEC. I do not expect Cabinet this evening to be able to give any answers to my questions, but please could I ask Cabinet to consider the request in the following questions and to contact our Town Clerk as a matter of urgency. Thank you for taking time to listen to me. Question 1. Can the toilets on the Imperial Recreation Ground be removed from the toilet review? Question 2. Can the timescale for moving this project forward be extended for up to 18 months? At present, the deadline is the end of June 2023, which is obviously to do with the toilets. Question 3. Can EDDC join the project and assist with their knowledge, staffing and financial input? Question 4. Can a meeting be arranged with EDDC portfolio holders of climate, environment, tourism, finance, EDDC climate officer, leader of EDDC and DDDC's climate officer as a matter of urgency to bring you all up to speed with our extremely exciting proposals, which would be a pioneer project for Exmouth, East Devon, the country, and hopefully the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Councillor Gazzard. Just look at those 4 questions. Can the toilets on Imperial Recreation Ground be removed from the toilet review? And can the timescale be changed? And can there be a joint project So all of those are operational questions, so I shouldn't answer those tonight, but very much hear you, and I understand that the main officer concerned is across this as well. So I'm sure there'll be discussions in the next few days about that, positive ones. The fourth question about a meeting of the great and good to discuss this, yes, absolutely, of course, we'd love to do that. Love to have those members of Cabinet present. This looks like a very exciting project. Looks like it might cost a few bob, so that's going to be an interesting thing. But well done. What we asked for when we went out to consultation about the public lavatories 2.5 years ago now was to people to come forward with imaginative suggestions, and this is very promising. So thank you very much for bringing it to Cabinet's attention, Steve. And I'm sure you'll be hearing back from officers, soon, and we'll try and get that meeting set up within the month as well. Thank you. Yes, please do.
Thank you for that, Leader. But could I ask that somebody, contacts our town clerk, because we do think it's extremely urgent that we are able, if we can, to move the project forward, because it's going to take some considerable time to do all the necessary things that we do. And need, obviously, the assistance of, as I said, EDDC and DCC. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, I've seen, I think, a chain of correspondence recently which involves the clerk and officers here. So we'll do our best to move that along as constructively as possible. Certainly. Thank you very much indeed. No other public speakers, so thank you very much for that. We now go to agenda item 2, which are the minutes of the previous meeting from the 29th of March 2023. What a long time ago. If anybody has any comments on those, please could you raise your hand. If no hands are raised, then I will take it as an indication that you agree to those minutes of the previous meeting and will then sign physically. Any comments? No? Okay, thank you very much. I shall sign here, as it says here. 7th of June. Thank you very much indeed. If I could just ask Mel to pass that across there. Thank you very much. Agenda item 3, apologies. We know that we've got Councillor Jeff Young has apologised. Councillor Ledger, we know, is on his way. Are any other apologies, Amanda, that we've got coming in?
Just one apology from Councillor Cahill, who I appreciate isn't on Cabinet, but he wanted to express his
That's
apologies.
very good of him. Thank you very much, Amanda. We now go through the declarations of interest, and I say this: when your name is called by Amanda, and mindful of the relatively new code of conduct, please state your declaration, including which agenda item your declaration relates to, state what exactly the interest is, and the specific type of interest you are declaring. So Amanda will take us through that, please.
Councillor Arnott.
None, thank you.
Councillor Hayward.
None at all, thank you.
Councillor Davey.
Yes, item 7, Exmouth Town and Seafront minutes. I'm also a town councillor at Exmouth Town Council.
Thank you. Councillor Hall.
Thank you. I'm probably going to take this to the extreme. Declarations in agenda items 7, 8 and 10 as the relevant portfolio holder on those panels. I've spoken with the monitoring officer and there's no reason for me not to take part. The further agenda item is agenda item 9, where it does make reference to Exeter City Council's involvement. I do work for Exeter City Council, but that's in the planning department, not in this department, and I don't believe that should preclude me from taking part. Thank you.
That's correct.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We really appreciate extensive, thorough, well-researched declarations of interest. Thank you very much. And thank you, Melanie, for working on that with Matt as well. Sorry, Amanda, back to you.
Councillor Hookway.
Yes, please. Agenda items 7 and 8. NRI, a member of Exmouth Town Council.
Councillor Jackson
None for me.
Councillor Loudon
None, Amanda, thank you.
and Councillor Rickson.
None, thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, committee. Thank you, Amanda, for that. We now go to our next agenda item, 5, late items or matters of urgency. There are none this evening. And agenda item 6, confidential or exempt items, there are none there either. So that takes us straight on to agenda item 7, the minutes from the placemaking in Exmouth Town and Seafront Group held on the 14th of March 2023. Do members wish to make any particular recommendations on this item, or can we agree to move it forward without specific recommendations? Okay, thank you very much. Those go through. Thank you. Agenda item 8, the minutes of the Asset Management Forum of the 13th of March 2023. Again, do members wish to make any particular recommendations on this item, or can we agree to move this forward without specific recommendations? Hands up if anybody opposes that. Thank you very much. Agenda item 9, the minutes of the Poverty Working Panel, the 20th of March 2023. Again, any recommendations, or can we agree to move this forward without specific recommendations? Any dissent, please indicate. Thank you very much. We do have a recommendation for the next item, agenda item 10, the minutes of the LED Monitoring Forum held on the 11th of April 2023. Cabinet recommendations can be found on page 24 of the agenda, and the recommendation is minute 45 of the Monitoring Forum of April 2023, and it says this, excuse me, options to reduce energy consumption at EDDC swimming pools. And the recommendation is that consultants be appointed to advise council and LED about the most appropriate way of moving forward for achieving carbon neutral swimming pools and leisure centres. Now, if any officers would like to comment on that, or any members, please do. Councillor Gazzard, please.
Thank you, Chair. It's just a question. Exmouth LED swimming pool has been very successful in what they've been achieving by using parts of technology to warm their swimming pool up. Would it be possible to use the same sort of technology in other swimming pools that they've got around the district?
So thank you, Councillor Gazzard. Anybody want to pick this one up at this stage? Councillor Hookway, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yes. The answer really to your question, Councillor Gazzard, is contained within the minutes, item 45. The Monitoring Forum had a long discussion following a presentation from Peter Kilpin, CEO of LED. The position is that each of the pools is different and no one particular solution fits all three, and that is due to their size, their location, whether they're their aspect as well. So LED have an idea of what they would like. They've gone as far as they can go, but we need to have consultants who are going to give specialist advice based upon their experience and what other people are doing for each particular one. Now, in terms of the deep green technology, which is the one where the computer sits in a bath of oil and there's a heat exchanger into the pool, I think at the moment that is just suitable for Exmouth, but we will have to wait and see, and that's really why we need to appoint the consultants to advise us as to what's going to be the most effective way of heating all three leisure centres.
Thank you. Okay. Do you wish to come back, Councillor Gazzard? Okay, thank you very much. I think that's on page 3 of the minutes of that meeting, and it's quite a detailed.
Apologies, Chair. I forgot to bring my agenda with me.
Oh no! I wasn't calling you out. I was just thinking for everybody else when they get home tonight and wish to read about it. It's there on page 3 of the LED minutes. But thank you very much, Councillor Loudon, please.
Thank you, Chair. I think Councillor Gazard's question goes to the heart of what the recommendation is about. And I think, again, Councillor Hookway has explained that this is not a simple, let's just go out and buy X and we can apply it to all of our pools. So, and I guess that this council of its size doesn't have a professional who has this expertise just sat around waiting just in case we come asking for some advice regarding heating pools more efficiently into the future. So I think this is almost a no-brainer, isn't it? We need some advice in order to try and do this properly and hopefully most cost effectively.
Thank you, Councillor Gazard. It seems like an appropriate use of consultants, does it not? Does anybody in the room would like to disagree with that or comment on that? No, silent. Okay, thank you very much. In which case, Cabinet, can we go to a vote, please? All of those who are in favour of us approving that recommendation from LED. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. We now go to agenda item 11, the minutes of the Recycling and Waste Partnership Board held on the 20th of April 2023. Again, there are no specific recommendations, so do members wish to make any particular recommendations on this item? Can we agree to minutes all without specific recommendations? Yes, Councillor Goodman, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. My concern with this item is that the contract ends in June and the Cabinet do not meet till the 12th of July. So in theory, the contract will be ended before you have opportunity to discuss the contract. The question is, will you have a standstill agreement, contract in place to allow that extension? The second point would be, it is a red risk to this council, and I think it's going to be very important that enough time is put into reviewing that contract. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the extension, Chairman, but I think it's right that it is scrutinised properly so you can make informed decisions. And my concern is going to go straight to Cabinet. And if you wished scrutiny to become involved in some way, I'll be happy to work with you in achieving that. Thank you.
No, thank you, Councillor Goodman. Unfortunately, and very unusually, Councillor Young isn't here tonight, and I know he has been across those extensive negotiations. We also have to be careful what's said at this stage. I suspect it's probably a matter for overview rather than scrutiny with respect, because it's looking at that which is moving forward but that's a matter for Democratic Services to decide. My understanding is we're not quite at the cliff face that is being suggested here, or the drop off. But I don't think we have any of the relevant officer team here or Councillor Young. I think, Councillor Goodman, those are legitimate questions. So may I ask the relevant officer to write to you and explain some background on that? I am aware there are some confidential issues there, as you can imagine, and it sits in a regional context as well, but thank you. Yes, please.
If I may just come back, I've already been speaking to these, gave me the details. My concern when I read this again yesterday was I hadn't realised it's ending in June and you're not going to make a decision till July. What risk does that pose to the council? I'd like looked at. That's all, Chair.
Yeah. No, that's a very fine question, and so let's get that an answer to that tomorrow. Thank you for that. Anybody else? No. In which case, those minutes go forward as approved. Agenda item 11, and then we have agenda item 12, which is our climax for tonight. Our star turn, Jodie Harding, to talk about our Better Care Fund financial assistance policy. And for those who don't know, Jodie, he is the Principal Environmental Health Officer for private sector housing. Over to you, please, Jodie.
Thank you very much, Chair and Cabinet. I'm Jodie Harding, Principal Environmental Health Officer for private sector housing. I would like to introduce the financial assistance policy for the Better Care Fund. The Better Care Fund is a central government grant distributed via Devon District Council to each individual local authority to deliver home adaptations and improvements for disabled applicants. The policy has been reviewed with Devon County Council and with our partners across Devon authorities, so that it's delivered consistently as the occupational therapists that support the scheme are employed directly by Devon County Council. So it has to be a consistent policy across the county. The policy ensures that the eligibility conditions and the use of the mandatory and discretionary grants are transparent and reasonable for the applicants, and the policy is consistent with other councils across Devon and ensures that the determination and the application of the grants are consistent. And it also supports our residents to adapt their home to make it safer and easier for to get the applicants around, to use their facilities for everyday tasks like cooking and bathing, and to help restore or enable independent living, improve privacy, confidence, dignity for the individuals and families. If I may, I'd like to draw the attention to the changes in the policy. The mandatory disabled facility grant remains at £30,000. It's means tested with a local land charge for over 5,000 with a maximum of 10,000. So the mandatory disabled facility grant remains the same. The discretionary accessible homes grant is £30,000. This is a top-up of the disabled facility grant, and it's means tested for the top-up, and there's the local land charge, the same as the disabled facility grant. We've agreed the discretionary accessible homes for the stair lifts is for all stair lifts now, including external and through-floor lifts. So that's a small change to this particular grant. These are discretionary, so these are outside of the mandatory disabled facility grants. New for this year, we have the discretionary accessible homes grant for bathroom adaptations. So this is where we have straightforward swaps for a bathroom for a level access shower, up to a maximum of £10,000, with a local land charge placed on that. So this is for applicants to have accessible toileting and washing facilities. It's not means tested, and there's the local land charge. The discretionary accessible homes grant for move-in has been increased to £10,000 for homeowners and £5,000 for tenants. And this is to help our resident applicants to move to a more sustainable and accessible new home, perhaps where the landlords have refused permission for the adaptation. So that's an increase in the grant. The Healthy Homes discretionary grant has also been increased to £10,000, and this enables us to provide up to £10,000 for capital works to support our residents' experience self-neglect and hoarding, disrepair in their properties, or the risk of violence in their own home. Again, there will be a local land charge made on that. This is a very flexible grant, and we use it for a wide range of home improvements and adaptations as well. Within the financial assistance policy, we have included our loans company, Lendology, and this company provide our homeowners the opportunity to access low-interest loans to make home improvements and repairs. We would like to, as part of the policy, introduce that when we get a historic grant repayment, we would like that money that's been repaid to go into Lendology so that we can recycle the money through the Better Care Fund to support our residents to access that loans. So we're able to recycle any capital grant that's been repaid. And in the policy, we would like to recommend that our senior officers are delegated the decision to make decide the appeal against the repayment of a grant. At the moment, any appeal against a repayment is required to come to Cabinet for a decision. Often, any appeal is associated with a house sale, and so preparing a report to SMT and to Cabinet may delay a sale of a house, and we would recommend that a decision could be made by our senior management team. We would consider that to speed up any decision to support a resident's house sale. We rarely get an appeal, but again, the policy defines when residents can make an appeal against the repayment. That's all the changes for the new policy. Any questions?
Thank you very much indeed, Jodie, for that. A very comprehensive report and then a consideration of the report by yourself. Thank you for that. Yes, Councillor Harnell, please.
Thank you, Chair. Just a question regarding point 4, where it states that we received 1.4 million in 2022 and spent 1 million. So the question is, does the 400,000 roll over to the new financial year and sort of stay in the pot, as it were? And the other question is, did all qualifying grant applications actually get paid out to make sure that everybody that applied and was eligible actually got paid their funding? Thank you.
Jodie, are you happy to answer those questions?
Yes, thank you very much. I do apologise because I've got my budget slightly mixed up. So I do apologise. So we had an allocation of 1.151 million from the county. We spent just over £1 million, and then any reserve is kept for this year. So we do have a small reserve, and then we get an allocation made. I also budget for 15 months because we get paid at the end of June for any allocation. So in terms of this capital budget, I have to allocate 15 months because we get paid at the end of June. So when I budget for those 15 months. We do have a waiting list, but it's a complex situation. So I do have some data if you want. We've just analysed up to this point. So we have 8 stages, and at the moment we've got 13 applications that we've just received. We've got 15 that are in their planning phase. We have 17 that we've got our first tenders back, and then we've got 5 that have been approved, and then we've got 23 waiting to be started or have started. So it is a complex and dynamic situation, we do have a delay for a variety of reasons. We have delays because of our supply chain, our contractors. We have customers trying to decide what they want. We also have the complexities of planning, listed building consents, and obviously the resources that we have to be able to prioritise those. And the priorities are either danger cases or deterioration. So those dynamics are always changing.
Are you? Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you for the question, Marcus, and thank you for the answer, Jodie, as well. Councillor Loudon, please.
Can I just ask you, Jodie, if I may, the very last point in the report, 10.4, the issue about the appeal mechanism. You set out in 10.2 very clearly there the grounds that we would consider an appeal. So I've sat on Cabinet now for just over 2 years. I don't recall in the past 2 years receiving a paper. So this may be putting you on the spot, and apologies if you can't answer it. So say, I don't know, the last 4 or 5 years, whatever. Any idea how many appeals you've received?
I've only had one that they decided then not to appeal. No, because you would have had reports. So in the last 2 years, we haven't had appeals.
If I may, Chair, sorry, if I may, so over the last 3, 4, 5 years, in recent times, is that sort of how it's been, you know, rarely do we get appeals?
We rarely get appeals. I think Cabinet have probably had 1 or 2 in the last 5 years.
Thank you, Councillor Loudon. Councillor Goodman, please.
Thank you, Chair. This is an important paper, as I see it. It helps specific groups of people. But I see under equalities, you rate it low impact. But actually, it is addressing many of the equality issues. Wouldn't you be putting in comments about equalities, even if that is in a positive way?
Thank you. We decided it was low impact because it's a transparent policy. But yes, I noted that we could make a positive note of that. Yeah, thank you.
It's an interesting semantic difference, isn't it, really? It's very high impact in a way, but it's not high risk because it's low impact because it's delivering the goods to the people who need it, isn't it? It's, you know, how do you settle for medium next time, maybe, or something? I don't know. So, thank you for the question, Councillor Goodman. I don't think we hear... Oh, Councillor Haywood, thank you.
Thank you, Jodie, for your report. 2 things. One, Councillor Hartnell kindly covered the issue I was going to raise about the rollover. In terms of the Lendology service, I was aware of this, and I know we have some leaflets downstairs, and the CAB has some leaflets. But I'm just wondering how widely known it is, and how perhaps we could get that message out more, because it's a very valuable service, and I know it's a conglomeration of different partners all involved doing it. But I think given the ability of the lending model, it's very low interest, and I think it's something that people who are perhaps asset rich but cash poor and need work doing to their property, but they're not council tenants or local authority or social housing tenants, I think it's worthwhile, and whether perhaps within the rollover that you've described, there's some leeway to perhaps use that for a bit of social media boosting or some local advertising, press advertising, because I think it's incredibly important, but I just don't know it's that well known, and obviously members here know about it and we can promote it, but we don't get to talk to everybody, and I would probably guess there's quite a few people who have no idea it exists. So I think if we could use a little bit of that via it to do that. Certainly in terms of the appeals, I mean, with Councillor Loudon, I can't recall one, and it's proof of the pudding's there. The final question on this is the maximum charge, land charges, is 10,000, but of course some of the grants are for 30,000. Is that set by national policy, or is that the policy that Devon has then disseminated down? Because it just seems odd that there's a maximum of 10, but you can actually give 30. And I'm sure there's no opportunity in the due diligence you do and your team do that people can't exploit this. But I just sort of, for me, it ranks that if you've given 30, you put a charge. I mean, if you went to the bank and borrowed 30, they'd put a charge on your property for 30,000. Who constrains that? Who's decided the 10?
Thank you for that question. That's a central government decision.
Excellent, short answer. Councillor Rickson, please.
I believe you mentioned there were about 17 on a waiting list. Are any of those in severe distress and needing help on a more emergency basis? And if so, how would this be handled?
Thank you for that question. That would be raised by the occupational therapists and Devon County Council, who top slice the Better Care Fund to deliver temporary adaptations to to our residents, and they would be installing adaptations as required for that residence in the meantime. So they would residents maybe get in grab rails and other devices or adaptations in that. Yeah.
Do you want to follow that up at all, Councillor Brigson? Councillor Davey, then, please.
Thank you. I'm just interested in what the mechanism is for people applying. I see that they fill in a form, but are people self-referred in that case, or do people come through the occupational therapy service, or are they referred by hospitals, by the NHS, or is there a variety of ways that the people access this service? Because it's kind of, yeah, both making people aware, as I think somebody else raised, Councillor Hayward, and also enabling people to kind of self-refer themselves for adaptations.
Under the legislation, we have to have a statement of needs from the occupational therapist, and the resident has to go to Care Direct themselves and request an assessment, and we're required to have a statement of need from the occupational therapist, and that's what the adaptation is based on. So as soon as we get the statement of need from the occupational therapist, we can start writing the specification for the adaptation. But it's in law that we have to have that two-stage process. So we have updated our website, and we would like to obviously promote the Disabled Facility Grant or the financial assistance policy through our residents, and we as and county would like to do some promotional activity around that to get those good news stories out. In January we did do a press release around a hoarding case in Seaton, and we didn't hit the national newspapers regarding the sort of this policy because we were able to access loans and grants, so it's very good to have some good news coverage around the promotion of our policy. In terms of Lendology, they do advertise in our parish magazines, and I do tend to try and do some messaging with them. But again, if you're coming across residents, then please direct them to private sector housing, please.
Lovely, thank you. Can I encourage all members as well, if you can bring your mics in close to you so that we're doing a bit of whispering Bob Harris here slightly. I'm not thinking of you, Councillor Hayward, but you've got a beautiful speaking voice, but I'm going to bring it there for you. Otherwise the video's not picking it up. Thank you.
One final question, if I may, just for absolute clarity. So the table 1 summarises the 2020 policy and the new 2023 policy, and the discretionary accessible homes grant blank is up to 30,000. That remains unchanged, and that is means tested. And then underneath, there's also discretionary accessible homes grant for lifts, shower rooms, and moving grants. And can I just clarify, those are non-means tested, those three. So the first one is means tested because it's supplementary to the first, but the latter three are non-means tested. Is that correct? Because they're in the final section, how do applicants apply for the grant, section 8, it does say there that discretionary accessible homes grants, which might be read from this that applies to all 4, will be means tested. Can I just ask for just clarity on that? Because once we leave here tonight, if we approve this, I think all members of Cabinet and councillors would be, quite able to promote this and say it's a great scheme, it helps people in need, but I wouldn't want to promote it and say, no, this is the facts, if there was just some ambiguity. If you could perhaps answer that, Jodie.
Yes, thank you. The Accessible Homes Grant is a top-up to the DFG and is means tested, and the stair lift and the level access shower, the bathroom adaptation, and the are discretionary non-mean tested.
Excellent, thank you. So the recommendation before us, Cabinet, is that the adoption of the East Devon Better Care Fund financial assistance policy in order to meet the Housing Grant Construction and Regeneration Act 1996 and the regulatory, open brackets, housing assistance, close brackets, open brackets, England and Wales, close brackets, order 2002, comma, be agreed. I hope that's clear. Well, shall I just propose that from the chair? How about that, and go straight to a vote? So all those in favour, please. Well done, Councillor Ledger. Okay, thank you very much. Now, we've noted Councillor Ledger's abstention. I should, I suppose, belatedly ask him for any declarations of interest tonight.
None, thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can I just, on that note, Chair, I didn't extend the declaration of interest request to the other councillors that are in the room. So the other councillors that are with us tonight, is there anybody here that has a declaration of interest, please? No? Perfect. Thank you.
Right, in which case, that concludes tonight's meeting. Can I just say for any new members watching on Zoom, and I know you are, or not Zoom, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, wherever else it is, this isn't a typical Cabinet meeting. We can go on for 3.5 to 4 hours sometimes. So this is because this is the first meeting of a new term, so to speak. So you won't always get away as lightly as this, but just to say thank you so much as ever to all the officers for their reports and to all the members in attendance, both those in Cabinet and outside, and that means our meeting to an end, and thank you to everybody for taking part. Good evening.